So welcome everybody. My name is Stephanie, and what we wanted to do today is we wanted to see what other travel advisors in the industry are doing during COVID-19. There's a lot of really unique, great marketing ideas out there, and so we wanted to reach out to advisors, chat with them one-on-one like we're doing here today. So we're really excited to chat with Thomas Carpenter from Huckleberry Travel. And what I'm going to do is just ask some questions and see what he's doing, and hopefully it helps spark some inspiration in all of you watching here today. So Thomas, thank you for joining us here today. Really excited to chat with you.
Absolutely happy to be here, and I hope everyone out there is staying safe and well. I know it's a difficult time for a lot of people, but we're going to get through this, and if I can be a small part of helping anybody else keep their business going, I'm more than happy to help.
Awesome. That's great. And on that, I know that COVID-19 has impacted so many in the industry right now in just incredible, significant ways. So I really want to hear from you. Can you give us a short summary of just how it's affected your business and just kind of what you're doing right now, and just kind of a big overview of how it's impacting you right now?
Yeah, so our business is relatively new. We've only really been in the travel industry for about we're in our fourth year of business at this point. So we're a relatively young business. We have always tried to keep one foot on the marketing gas pedal. That's our kind of that's been, I think, one of the reasons that we've been as successful as we have right out of the gate. But of course, when the COVID-19 pandemic happened, our business, which had been growing and we've been getting new clients every day, and we were really in a good position, our business just fell off the cliff, and we were no different than anybody else. So we spent a few weeks kind of scrambling to get our clients to postpone rather than rebook. That was, of course, our big one of our big pushes, and I think we were pretty successful as far as that goes, but really we haven't had new bookings come in at all, and we've been kind of shifting our marketing efforts, instead of talking to people about booking new travel, to really kind of plot out, knowing that this is going to last for a few weeks at least, to try to plot out a strategy for how to talk to people about what's happening in the industry in a way that's personal and maximizes that personal connection, because the thing that differentiates us from a big internet online booking engine is that we have that personal connection with people. And so we've been looking for ways to talk to people and stay front of mind, so that when they are in a position to start planning their travel again, they'll feel good about calling us and getting that process going. So trying not to be crass, trying not to be opportunistic, but looking for signs that people are going to be ready to book soon.
Yeah, and that sounds what a lot of people are doing. And that's really great that instead of canceling, you're just trying to postpone and, deal with all those as it comes. And so can you shed some light on what you're currently doing right now? Are there any marketing things that you have done or are planning to do right now?
Yeah, mentioning the personal connection, I mean, that's really been the centerpiece of our business. We think our value proposition is that we are personally connected to people. We do, for our marketing, we do a lot of events in our community, which we haven't been able to do. But we've been looking at some of the online forums, taking a cue from the fact that people are doing Zoom meetings to stay connected to each other. We, over the weekend, just did a kind of a webcast for our clients and for our friends and family, because so many people have been checking in with us. We thought that would be a way to kind of maintain that personal connection, to let people know we're doing okay, and to talk to them a little bit about the things that we're seeing in the industry. And we recorded that. We've put that up on our website, which is at huckleberrytravel.com, if anybody wants to look at it. I think it's a great thing if people want to do something like that, to just talk to your clients, so that you can maintain that connection. Another thing that we've been doing our community where we live in Brooklyn, New York, there's a listserv, just a neighborhood, like an old school neighborhood email list. And we found out about it actually because there were people on that listserv who were referring us, and they didn't seem to know each other. So we were trying to figure out where are we getting all these referrals in the neighborhood, and how are these people finding out about us? And finally, somebody said, "Oh, I heard about you on this list." And we're like, "Oh, okay." Well, so we signed up for the list, and there was a lot of talk initially on that list about how other small businesses are really hurting in the uh, because of the shutdown of bars and restaurants, and so they started talking about, well, other than bars and restaurants, what are some of the other small businesses in the neighborhood that are open, that are still doing business, and that we can talk to, and that people were making a spreadsheet. So we got on that list and kind of reminded people that that not all the small businesses in your community are bars and restaurants, and we're here too. And again, that one-on-one connection, to really reach out to the people in our community, because we couldn't have a meetup at the bar on the corner, or we couldn't host a cruise night at the restaurant around the block. So those types of things to kind of stay connected to folks, and that was successful. And a lot of new people who hadn't booked with us before have said to us, "Oh, I didn't even realize you were in the neighborhood, and I'm so glad, and we'll definitely come to you when we're ready to travel again."
Yeah, that's really interesting. Every neighborhood has their bar and their restaurant, but they also have their travel agency.
Right,
Very
right.
important too. One thing that I'd love for you to elaborate on is a lot of advisors they've never used Zoom or conference. It's a very new thing for a lot of us, just being virtual in so many ways that we never were virtual in. So can you share on how you connected? Like, did you send out an email? Did you use Zoom to get clients together? Can you just tell us kind of the process of how you set that up?
Yeah, so we have an email list, and we did a few different things. So we have an email list of our own, and we used to we started off sending weekly emails, and then somehow or another we got away from doing weekly emails, and they became a little less frequent. But so we sent out an email a couple of days ahead of time. Um, just to let people know that we had gotten so many inquiries, just checking in on us, asking how we're doing, asking how our business was doing, and that we were hoping to connect with people. And so we were going to do this webcast. And then we put it on our Facebook page for our business. And there are there are three of us in Brooklyn, or three of us in the business, two of us in Brooklyn, one in California. And so we each sent it out to our friends and family on our Facebook pages. We put it on, I did some one-on-one outreach to some clients where I know I had been working with them on postponing their trips, and we were waiting to hear back from the airline about whether they were going to get a credit or a refund and things like that. And so in the context of talking to them about that, I said, "Oh, by the way, in case you're free on Saturday, we're doing this little thing. We'd love to have you check in." And I'm trying to think what else we did. We have some neighborhood Facebook pages. And I put it on the listserv that I mentioned earlier. I send out an email to folks in the neighborhood, just to let them know that if they were interested in checking us out. And so that's kind of, we included the link in all of that. So people could just click on the link at the appointed time. And we did a dry run the day before to make sure that we understood how the technology was going. It's like the worst thing you could do would be like do something like that and then like be like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot to hit the record button," or whatever. So just to make sure that we were comfortable with the technology, like you mentioned. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what are some topics like what did you chat about during it?
Well, we had we kind of started out because we knew we would have some clients who were prospective clients who hadn't really booked with us before, who were kind of trying to, ask a lot of those questions that people ask us when they find out that we're travel advisors and or travel agents, and they'll say, "Well, I didn't realize there still were travel agents." And I'm sure we've all gotten those questions. So we answered that. We kind of did like our script that we do for new clients when we're working with them for the first time, to kind of introduce ourselves, to say, "I don't know if you've worked with a travel advisor before. But if you're one of those people on the call who isn't familiar with how we work, here's how we've worked with clients in the past. Here's what we do. Here's what our value is. Our value, that personal connection, the fact that we're not just a booking engine, that we advocate for our clients when they travel. And we were able to use, moving into talking about the crisis, we were able to talk about some of those things. So the things that we've been able to do for clients to help them out, how people were concerned about traveling, the importance of travel insurance, even if it's not covering COVID-19, why it's an important thing to have when you travel, how we've been able to advocate for our clients so that none of our clients have had to spend 1 minute on hold, because we've been doing all of the work to get them rebooked. How our suppliers have very generous and flexible policies. So nobody that we work with has lost a dime on the vacations that they've booked with us, because we've been able to preserve all of that money either as a refund or a future travel credit. And we just talked about all of those things, and I think made the case that we're really on top of what's going on in the industry, that we're attending lots of webinars every day so that we know what's going on with the suppliers' policy and cancellations. One thing that we said in the call, which I think is really important, is a lot of times people who are trying to cancel their trips or postpone their trips are thinking that, well, the sooner I do it, the better off I'm going to be. Like, I'm going to get the best, I'm going to be protected if I just make the decision now to cancel that trip that's in July, because I just get it done. And that's really not what we've been seeing with suppliers. And I'm sure other travel advisors have seen the same thing, that a lot of times if you wait until the last moment that you have to cancel, if the airline cancels the flight or if the cruise line cancels the sailing, a lot of times those future travel credits are much more generous and much more flexible. So if you initiate the cancellation 3 months in advance, you're not getting the same kind of value out of if you cancel the cruise a week in advance, or if the cruise line cancels the sailing, and then sometimes you're getting up to 225% of the value of your trip. So we talked about that, and I think that was really eye-opening for people, that we were like paying attention to all those different supplier policies, and the airline policies are changing every day, and we're really trying to stay on top of it. So I think that helped us show our value.
Awesome. That's really cool. And that's so smart. That's what a lot of travel advisors I've heard too are doing, is where they're just kind of taking this opportunity to share that, I can help navigate these questions for you, in travel. And so, yeah, that's really cool. And another thing that I definitely want to touch on is, I know we were emailing, you had mentioned about a really cool thing that I want to chat about. And so, going off of the travel experts, you're the travel expert. Now, all of a sudden, the entire world has just been thrust into the world of homeschooling. So homeschooling and school is closed. And so I know that you're working on some really cool ideas along the side with teachers and parents on, how you as a travel expert can add value to homeschooling. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about that?
Yeah, actually, so one of the things that we've always done is we have a little group of other travel advisors that are in part of our host agency, and we started a little kind of a mastermind group that we call it, where we bounce ideas off of each other. And one of the advisors in our group had this idea of, since so many people are home with their kids, I don't want to take credit for the idea because it wasn't originally mine, but since we have so many clients who have kids at home, and they're kind of struggling with, now that I'm going to teach my kids at home and school's not in session, how am I going to do that? And so Sean, the advisor in our group, suggested, hey, what if we put together like a Facebook post for the week with, here's an idea for a lesson you can do that connects with travel. And so we kind of took that idea and turned it around a little bit. And it just so happens that our sub-agent who works on the West Coast, Erin, is a teacher. And so she worked with us to kind of put together, it hasn't gone up yet, but I think it's going to go up either today or tomorrow, the idea of using travel to create kind of a curriculum or some lesson plans for parents who are teaching their kids at home. And there are all sorts of things you could do. You can just, you could take an itinerary and break down the itinerary for your clients to kind of show them, you could use this itinerary to teach history and culture, or to teach, language. If you've got a skill with languages, you could do some basic, foreign language stuff. You could teach geography, of course. And so we've got a post that's going to be going up on our blog that's going to show parents, if you wanted to do a week on Italy, here's something you could do on Monday, something you do on Tuesday, something you do on Wednesday, and just go through the week with resources and links. There are all those virtual tours, museum tours that are out there. And so we're just linking to other resources so that parents can go to one place on our website and see some of the information that we've got, because when we're planning a trip, we do all that research anyway, so we're good at it. We know how to find the fun things to do in a place, and it's pretty easy to just kind of twist that a little bit and package it up in a nice easy way, and generate some goodwill with clients and also to keep them in front of mind, to keep them coming back to your website, or if you do it like our friend Sean did, do it on your Facebook page, providing a resource. So we'll see how that works. But again, that's another thing that we can send out on our email list. We can send that in our neighborhood Facebook group. We can post about it in our neighborhood email list, just so that people know that we're not all about booking travel. We're also about being part of the community and helping people out.
Yeah, that is so cool. That was really cool when you said, I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of connecting the dots on that, travel experts know the geography, they know the culture, history. I mean, that's so much curriculum right there. So that's really cool. So those are questions I had for you, but before I just wanted to check, can you share what is one of your top tips for agents to do right now, or something that you've been doing that you've found really successful, whether it's just helping you stay sane, marketing, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think so one of the things that we've been doing a lot of cooking, and I think everybody has, certainly in Brooklyn and New York City, we eat out maybe more than we should. And so it's been a really good thing to kind of keep ourselves together and to do a lot of cooking. We're hosted by Uniglobe Travel Center, which is, and we're just so grateful for all of the support that Uniglobe has given us. And we actually started, among the Uniglobe agents, we started a recipe exchange on our, like a whole separate Facebook group just to trade recipes. And that's been really, really fun to see kind of what our fellow travel advisors are doing. So not necessarily a marketing thing, but more just about, keeping ourselves connected to the people who are giving us such incredible support. And so we've invited some suppliers and some vendors to be on that page. I'll send you a link so you can join too.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's what I've been noticing. I'm definitely cooking a lot more than usual, because you're kind of like, especially working from home, and if you're used to working from home, maybe it's no different. But for me, my kitchen's right there, so I can just prep the oven, get it ready, and start making things.
Yeah, and we're home based as well, and so you would think that I would have been cooking all along, and yet, now I have a little more time, but I need to figure out how to also get around to that cleaning. A friend of mine said, I always told myself if I had a week at home with nothing else to do, I would clean my house from top to bottom, and it turns out that that's not the problem.
Right.
So,
yep.
yeah.
I feel you on that. Or like spend the weekend organizing, and no.
Right.
Well, this has been awesome. And I want to thank you so much again for sharing your expertise with us. And and I guess if anyone on here who watches this, if you have any questions, put them in the comment or reach out to us. But yeah, and hopefully, we stay in this and stay positive, and hopefully we come out of this stronger than ever, which I know travel will, and it'll be back. So let's be ready for it when it is.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Really, really great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.